So this is my Saibaimen deck. I try to make it a theme style deck. So starting off with Double Strike Son Goku. When you have 4 or less life, you can awaken him by drawing 2 cards. On his awakened side, he still has Double Strike, and when he attacks, he draws a card. So that's always good. The main thing, about this deck is that it revolves around mainly Goku. Because he's your main attacker. You're going to be attacking with him every turn. He's Double Strike, so you're going to essentially be doing 2 damage a turn. That is the main goal. So he's your main win condition. So in 4 turns, you should be able to win if you keep dealing your opponent Double Strike damage to his leader. So we have Nappa, the Cultivator. Active main, choose 1 card in your hand, place it into the drop area, choose up to 1 Saibaimen card from your deck and play it, then shuffle your deck. So this is your main engine for getting your Saibamens out. This is what your Saibamens look like. They're blockers with the ability that you can have as many copies of them in your deck. And when this card is KO'd, choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards with an energy cost 1 or less and KO them. So it's good for getting rid of any small threats. But typically it's just they're there to block. Another thing you can do with them is obviously, since they have 5,000 combo power, you can obviously use them to boost up Son Goku, so that way he has a better chance of dealing that Double Strike damage to your opponent. So this is a little engine where you can use Nappa to bring out the Saibamens, and then use the Saibamens for combo power. Someday we might have a card where we can discard every turn, like discard and then add it back to our hand, discard and add it back to hand. That would be great, because think about it, you're discarding a card to bring out a card. If you discarded a Saibaimen, right, to bring out a Saibaimen from the deck, well, you are thinning out the deck. That's one thing, but you're giving out, you're discarding 5,000 combo power to bring out 5,000 combo power. And then you're just going to use that 5,000 combo power you just brought out. So it's like somewhat productive. But, the ability to thin out your deck so you can get to certain tech cards. I don't really have much tech cards in here at the moment, but that could be something you can incorporate, a couple of tech cards. The fact that you can thin out the deck by bringing the Saibamens out from the deck with Nappa gives you a better chance of getting to your tech cards if you have specific cards to beat specific decks, right? So we have Vegeta. I'm trying to make this deck a lot like the way it was when Nappa and Vegeta arrived in the series and they fought Goku. So Goku's the leader. You got Vegeta and Nappa. This is Vegeta the Cruel. He's counterplay. Permanent. It's a little irrelevant. He reduces in color if you have a multicolored card. There are none in this deck at the moment. Although when you play this card during your opponent's turn, choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards with an energy cost 4 or less, KO it. So that's really good. Then your opponent chooses 1 card from the hand and sends it to the warp. So, you play him, he only costs 3. You play him on your opponent's turn. When your opponent makes a play, more likely if he summons a battle card, that's when you'll respond. He plays a battle card 4 or less. You respond with this, kill that 4 or less battle card, and then your opponent has to warp 1 of the cards from the hand, so you're getting some value out of that. So that's a nice little tech card there, right? And then of course the Saibamen's Endless Explosions. Already mentioned they're blockers. You can have as many copies you want, and they can KO anything weak. We have about 28, I think it's 28, right? 10 plus 6, yeah, we have 28 Saibamens in the deck so far. You can obviously take some out and throw in some tech cards, whatever works for you. This is just a basic fun build, just for a concept purpose. It's not fully flushed out, not even battle tested yet, so you can improve upon it. This is Hidden Power of the Saiyans, another counterplay card, another way to respond to what your opponent does, because you're trying to slow your opponent's ability to play the game while you just keep attacking them every turn with Goku double striking them. That's the intended goal, right? So here's a counterplay card. If your leader card is green, which it is, your opponent may place the battle card they're playing into their owner's drop area instead of playing it, of course. So when they play a battle card, you respond with this. They either send the battle card to the graveyard, good for you, or they send 2 cards from their hand to the drop area in order to play their battle card. So if they try to play some big, powerful attacker, finisher, or something you consider problematic, a battle card that, like a Kami or something that would wipe out all your Saibaimen's, or just wipe out your board, you can use this to try to stop them. They could obviously bypass it by discarding 2 cards, but in a way that can benefit you. It's all about control, so that's the thing. It's just some control elements. We got a counter attack, of course, to be able to negate an attack. So your opponent, it won't be that easy for your opponent to end you out. Then this has the effect that you may choose one of your opponent's battle cards and place into you may choose one of your battle cards and place into the drop area. If you do, your opponent chooses 1 card from their hand and place it into the drop area. So you can sacrifice one of your Saibaimen's to make your opponent discard a card from their hand. So imagine playing this first, and they play their battle card, right? Discard 2 cards so they can make sure their battle card hits the field. So they just lost 2 cards. Then they attack. You play this in response to that attack, sacrificing one of your Saibaimen's, for example. So you're able to negate that attack, of course, and then you make them discard another card from their hand. So they just lost 3 cards. So making it harder for them to play the game if they don't have cards to play, right? And you're trying to protect your life as much as possible with your Saibaimen's, obviously, because they're blockers. You want to protect your life as much as possible. Another thing you want to do is you don't want to attack with Nappa, because you're just going to make them vulnerable to attacks. So you just keep them in active mode, right, in attack mode. Just keep them there just as an engine. Don't attack with them. Just attack with your leader. Moving on, we got Shocking Death Ball, another negate with an added ability of then you can choose one of your opponent's battle cards with energy cost of 2 or less and KO it. This has Sparking 5, where you can play this card. You can activate this card's counter skill from your hand by adding a card from your life to your hand instead of paying its cost. So if you're tapped out, you can still play this just by taking a life. So I love that. A negate you could play even when you're tapped out. And it can KO a battle card with energy cost 2 or less. So again, more control, because you're trying to make sure your opponent's not gaining any footing, it's not gaining any advantage over you, while you're just focusing on attacking them repeatedly with double strike with your leader. And then just something extra. Awakened Warrior Bardock. He has Overwhelm 4. He's a 20k, and when you overwhelm him, he gains double strike. So that's all he is. He's just an extra double striker. You could get him. It'll be easy to fill up your graveyard to play him. So you get the idea that you could, put in a couple more black cards into the deck, and try to incorporate more strategy into the deck, like counter, more double strikes. Here I just teched in, obviously this, because you overwhelm it for 4 and it's a 20k double strike. That'd be good even when your opponent's leader is awakened. You're already 20k, then you boost them up with your Saibaimen's. You can get them up to 30k or more, and double strike, along with the fact that you have your leader, so that's a potentially 4 damage in a single turn. That's always useful, the ability to get out there. So the sooner you can get double strike damage in, the better, and the sooner you'll get to beating your opponent. Plus the fact that you're making your opponent get cards to their hands because you're dealing them double strike, and it's not double strike critical, obviously, right? Playing cards like Hidden Power of the Saints can help reduce their hand cost. Another thing you could probably do is you could take out like 4 Saibaimen's to put in. I forget what it's called right now, but it's a cell card. It's a 4 energy card. You play, your opponent discards 2 cards from their hands. So you can even tech something like that in here. Since this is a green deck, you could tech that in there. You could try to do the super combo. Android 16, he has the ability that when you super combo with him, your opponent discards a card. You could try to add more hand discarding abilities. Since you're trying to do a lot of double striking in this deck, you might want to put in some cards that can make your opponent lose cards from their hands, and you know, to reduce their chances of having something they could use to turn the duel around, to give them an advantage to beat you. You just make sure they don't have an advantage, and you just beat them by just constantly attacking them with your leader over and over again. And that's the end of the video.